She talked about the intelligence of that game that they played after they went up 4-1.
Well, and Barry was talking about it, and that's the tough part there when your teammates are being challenged. And I will say in defending the players is they didn't initiate any of those fights. Clutterbuck didn't initiate with Tkachuk, and Casey Cizikas didn't initiate his little fight either with Borowiecki. So that's the tough part. You want to back away, and you want to, because you're a little bit short-handed, but at the same time you've got a little pride to yourself, and both those guys play very, very hard. So Ottawa Senators, I guess you can say, give them credit for trying to initiate something, maybe force the Islanders to play a little bit more short-handed, kill the penalties from their perspective. So that's a tough part from any of the players, but I mentioned it during the broadcast that you got to be smart with the puck, and I thought that's what Barry was talking about. And there were times when they could have been a little more simpler with their play and understood that they were up 4-1 and they didn't need to press. But as a hockey player, though, Brendan, you're up 4-1 and you're thinking, oh boy, this is one of those games where it's going to be 5, 6, 7, and you sort of light your stats up a little bit, so you get away from your game sometimes. But at the end of the day, this team is playing real well, getting great goaltending, and they just seem to be really finding their rhythm.
Barry Trotz talked about having a long memory. It doesn't have to be that long. They play him November 5th at Barclays Center, which is just 4 games from now for the Islanders, who have 4 days off after Sunday's game against Philadelphia. Well, the star of this game was Nick Leddy. He had a hat trick for a moment there. The goal wound up being credited to Matt Martin, but he was all over the ice, and not only did he score 2 goals in the first period, 2 breakaways in the first period. Buries one, gets hauled down on the other. What a period, what a game for Nick Leddy.
Well, when you have the legs that Nick Leddy has, and when he gives them to you, it's easy for the coach to play 21, 22 minutes. There's one shake, there's another shake, so he's given the shoulder deeks, and then he just sees a little opening, he drives through, and he's able to sneak the puck. I mean, he doesn't look like he's moving that fast, but he's going by people like they're standing still, and that was a huge goal for the Islanders because it got them back on track, and there he is again jumping into the hole. And this is the part of the game that I love to see a lot more from Nick Leddy, because he has such great acceleration. Look at him take his time. He's got his head up all the way, and he rings it off the post. So a wonderful shot. But when you got a speed like Nick Leddy, you can break through the middle, and no one's catching you. And the only thing they can do is haul you down. So a terrific game by Nick Leddy tonight. And look at the ice time, Brendan, and pretty good accomplishment for Nick.
Yeah, 3 shots, 2 goals. I don't think he got a shot for the penalty shot goal, but he gets one of those shots was the assist on Matt Martin's goal, which we'll get to in a minute. But a nice night for Nick Leddy, who didn't have a goal yet this season. He didn't have a point yet this season before last night. Now he's got 3 points in the last couple of games. That was just from the first period, and the Islanders had to come from back down 1-0 with those 2 goals to take a 2-1 lead into the second period, and then they got them rolling. Got a couple of goals early. Nick Leddy involved again on the Martin goal, and then Derek Brassard added to it.
Well, they were good in the first 5 or 6 minutes where they were totally focused. As Barry mentioned, they got distracted in that later on in that period. But Matt Martin doing what he does best, a good quick puck works and support, and Leddy gets that shot on net, and Matt Martin is exactly where he's supposed to be. I mean, that was Cizikas, Clutterbuck, and then the shot from Nick Leddy, and Matt Martin eventually gets credit for it. So good work by that line, and certainly Nick Leddy, who was so good. And this is what Matt Barzal does so well. He backs the defense off. He's got great head on his shoulder, great peripheral vision, and he knows right away, takes a quick look, or he doesn't even have to look. He knows he's there. Maybe Brassard was screaming at him, and well, he should if he's in the open. Nice play by both of those guys. So Brassard now finally finding his scoring touch.
Yeah, each of his goals have come in the last 2 games, and Matt Martin scores for the second time. He had a multi-point game as well. Matt Martin and Nick Leddy, the only 2 Islanders with multiple points in the 4-2 win tonight for New York. But the Islanders stressed 7 defensemen, which means they started the game with 11 forwards by choice. Oliver Wahlstrom came out of the lineup, so did Michael Dowcole, as Noah Dobson got in on the back end. Tom Kuhnhackl came in the lineup after not playing last night. He left the game with an injury, potentially a serious injury. We hope for the best for Kuhnhackl, as the Islanders lost him, then lost Matt Martin for a time, and it was a rough game to manage for ice time.
It really was, as you mentioned, Kuhnhackl, and then Matt Martin, and then Clutterbuck, and then Cizikas. So a lot of guys, spending more time as we see Kuhnhackl go in awkwardly, and just look, he got lost his edge just a little bit, and he's helped off the ice, so we can only speculate what's going to be. Certainly he didn't play the rest of the game, and he's a good solid performer for the Islanders, so we're hoping that doesn't last too long. But certainly there's Matt Martin as the gate springs open, and I was just watching that whole replay, Brendan, and there's 2 trainers that are standing right there. I mean, that's kind of part of their job, is to make sure that gate is closed, because the players so often don't pay attention to the gate. They just expect someone else to close it, and it didn't happen. So I'm going to blame somebody. Why not?
In their defense, sometimes they look closed. They're just not actually locked down. But an unfortunate circumstance for the injury. But the good news was he came back, he finished the game, and hopefully he's available to play on Sunday. But the Islanders have some options to play on Sunday as well. Ross Johnston, Wahlstrom, all available, as well as Michael Del Cole.
Yeah, they've got some forwards, and you know what? That'll be another opportunity for them. Certainly Del Cole and Wahlstrom. I mean, you know, being pulled out of the lineup is a bit of a wake-up call, and it's Barry's way of saying you've got to be better, you've got to do more. Wahlstrom's first game I thought was really good, but his next couple of games weren't nearly as good. So it's you know, sometimes you think it's going to be easy, but it's never easy. You got to continue to work hard day in and day out.